Hello and welcome to today's Facecast. We are in the New Testament today in the letter to the Galatians. So that's a letter by St. Paul to the church in Galatia, explaining to them some of the intricacies and some of the wonderful joys of living the Christian life. And in Galatians chapter 5, verse 25, he says, "Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit." Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. What does he mean by that? Well, in this letter, he's going to quite some lengths, quite an extent, to explain to them and to encourage them to see within themselves how they are as people, how we are as people. And he says there are two sides to our nature. There's our human side and our spiritual side. He says if you leave everything up to your human side, you will make all kinds of mistakes. And he begins to list some of those mistakes here in chapter 5. So read the whole chapter and you'll get an idea of why he needs to say, since we live by the Spirit, keep in step with the Spirit. He explains some of the untoward, unhealthy, bad attitudes and habits we might have and develop. But he says, on the other hand, we are people of God. We are people who are followers of Jesus. We are people who are capable of receiving the third person of the Holy Trinity, the Holy Spirit. And if we have that Holy Spirit within us, then we should live by that Spirit. We should live our lives according to the ways that God has outlined for us. And it's the Holy Spirit will help us to do that. That's what his job is, to live within us, helping us to live right lives. So if we have the Spirit within us, we should live our lives keeping in step with what he wants. Then we won't go astray. Then we won't get pulled back into all those other wrong things, those worldly things. What are they? Go back to chapter 5 of Galatians and read it and see what they might be. And see if you ever get tempted by some of those things. If we live by the Spirit, we have to keep in step with the Spirit. So there's something that we have to do. It's not just saying, over to you, God, you run my life for me. It's saying, with your strength, with your help, I can live out my life in the right way. That is keeping in step with. I guess it's a military term. When you have soldiers marching, you have to keep in step with them. Otherwise, you're the odd one out and you fall to the wayside. When they are marching along, you must keep in step with everybody else, marching to that same tune, that same beat. Well, we as Christian folk need to keep in step with the Spirit and march with him in the way that he will guide us and lead us. Sounds easy, isn't always, can be difficult to live that life, but it is joyous and rewarding. It does give us a frame, a parameter within which to live. We might find ourselves doing it quite naturally, or it might be something we have to impose upon ourselves in areas where we need some discipline. Whatever and however it may be for you, if you want to live by the Spirit, you have to keep in step with the Spirit. Bye for now.